Hi coaches, head hitting instructor for Slugger Sports Academy, Coach Hamley. Today I'm going to be bringing you the Daily Vitamin PVC Pipe series. This is something that we want you to utilize in your team hitting, and this should be done every day before your team begins any drill series with hitting. It's something that I've brought with me from Calvin University and strongly believe in, and something that we use to help the hitter gain more feels and recognition for the swing with their mechanics. And it also allows us as coaches to have a cohesive language with our athletes when we're working with them. Through the drill series, I'll talk about the pieces of the swing that we want to look for as we are going through the drills, so that you can explain to your team and each individual each of the moves and why it will help them in their swing series. So with that, let's get started. The first thing that we want is to have a piece of PVC pipe. With me, I have a 7-foot piece of PVC pipe. I'm not a very tall human being by any means. I stand about 6 foot tall. However, for anybody who's, I'd say, 5'10" and above, especially your big tall guys, you're going to want to use a piece of PVC pipe that is comfortable for them to maneuver and move with. For our younger athletes, 9, 10, 11, and probably some 12-year-olds, we'll use just a standard piece of 5 foot by 3¼ inch wide PVC pipe. So the first one is called telephone poles. And with the telephone pole, we are simply sticking the PVC pipe on the ground and positioning it where the athlete feels comfortable, as if they were holding their own baseball bat. Now, one important thing to go around and do as coaches is to make sure that each ball player has their door knockers knuckles lined up. Even at the higher levels, I see a lot of players who are choking off their bat, and we want to make sure that they have these door knocking knuckles, which is simply your second set of knuckles, lined up. This allows us to get good whip and live athletic hands in our swing. Many coaches used to teach a punching motion with the bat. However, I have found with this motion, it minimizes our range of motion and it minimizes where we can make contact, or I should say the area that we can make contact, right? Ideally, we'd like to be able to make contact back here all the way up through our swing. And in order to do that, we need to have those knuckles lined up to get great whip action through the zone. So when you're going around instructing your team and each individual with the telephone pole, check knuckles first. Then they should position their hands where they would hold their bat. You know, I encourage, especially working with young athletes, to have hands either at the back of the jaw or just by the ear. And with the first telephone pole move, we're simply going to load, and some athletes load by coiling that back hip. Some, they have a little bit of a leg kick, and when they raise their leg, we should still see their back knee stay inside their back foot. So when they load, stride, toe, heel, and that's it. We're simply getting the feel of walking away from the PVC pipe. And what we're doing is we're creating stretch. We want to create distance between our hands and our head, not by pushing, but by simply walking away. And when you watch your athletes as they load and then stride, we should see their body get into an attack position. So when they are in an attack position, again, make sure the heel is down, make sure the nose is slightly ahead of the belt buckle. If you see head back behind the belt buckle, you'll see a sway in their swing. And what happens here is a lot of athletes uppercut or slash across the zone instead of getting that nice, long, fluid swing through all parts of the zone. So once again, this is the first of the PVC pipe daily vitamins. I simply call these walk away. So the athlete will load, stride, and walk away. And this will allow you as a coach to walk around and work with each of your athletes. The second piece to our PVC pipe telephone poles is once they've walked away, We are then going to drive our back leg into a firm front leg. Our body has 5 gears when it comes to a swing. We have our feet, we have our legs, we have our hips, torso, arms, and hands. We want to work from the ground up. So when we walk away, okay, we have our feet engaged with the ground. That's why it's so important to make sure that their heel is planted on that front foot. And then from here, notice I'm not cranking on the PVC pipe. It's all lower half drive, where then I want to see my back knee driving towards my front knee, my back hip rotating, replacing my front hip. We should see our athletes up on our back toes, not back here, squishing the bug, so to speak. Okay, we want to see that nice attacking posture. So once again, load, stride, toe to heel touch, drive the back leg. That's number 2 in our PVC pipe telephone pole series. The third piece, the third move that we're going to add, okay, after our load, again, checking the athlete's door knocker knuckles, those second knuckles, load, toe to heel, lower half. We then want to see the athlete slot the elbow, okay? And the reason being, okay, I want to show you from the front. Load, stride, toe, heel, lower half, noticing my lead shoulder, my front shoulder is staying down and facing the opposite middle infielder. So for me as a righty, that'd be your second baseman. Okay, so we drive that lower half. We want to see that elbow slot into position where it can move easily and freely underneath our chest, okay, allowing our hands to work live and active. Now, what a lot of young athletes will do, and you'll see this, is instead they will jam it and tuck it into their body. This will minimize athleticism. This will minimize adjustability. So we want to make sure that we see the elbow slot. And from here, where this incorporates into our swing, from this position here, this is where we can either decide to swing or take. However, we are in a strong athletic position to attack the baseball. And the next move from here would be that first move where we're basically replacing the back elbow with the front elbow. My bat is now perfectly parallel to the ground. And again, this is where the athlete decides to swing or take. From here now, I have my lower half where I want it to be. Now I continue my swing through the zone. And I'm sure many of you have talked to your guys about having that top hand palm up, bottom hand palm down. Just with those 3 pieces to the telephone pole drill series, you can see we're incorporating those pieces into the swing right here. Okay, so that's our third move where we simply are slotting the elbow. Now from here, we still consider this part of our telephone pole daily vitamin warm-up. Now we're just going to take the PVC pipe, we're going to pick it up off the ground, however, still imagining that it was stuck into the ground. We're going to keep it comfortably on our back shoulder, okay, again, checking those knuckles, okay, making sure that the athlete can move their hands freely and athletically. If they're choking it off, okay, they're not going to be able to really move their arms. What they're doing is I call it choking off the PVC pipe or choking off the bat, and that just minimizes range of motion. You'll see a lot of guys roll over on the ball or scoop at the ball. So again, always make sure you're checking those knuckles. So this is our 4th move in our daily vitamin PVC pipe telephone pole series. From here now we go through our swing mechanics. So we're going to see that load, stride, noticing that the end of the PVC pipe is facing the catcher. Drive that lower half, keeping that front shoulder pointed at the second baseman. Slot the elbow, get into an attack position, and then we swing. And when we swing and finish, just gives you a chance as a coach to observe your athletes. Noticing driving through off the back foot. We're not up high. We're driving through, firm front side. Lead foot is slightly open, 20, 25 degrees. and again, driving into a firm front side. And this is a great drill for you to use with your whole team. You can take them through it together through a cadence, sequencing that swing, having your assistant coaches or volunteers walk around helping all through the athlete's body to make sure they're in the correct position. So once again, you can take them through it like a cadence, load, stride, toe to heel touch, turn the back leg, slot the elbow, get into an attack position. And in this attack position, you should see the hands, wrist, elbow, and the stripe of the pant through the knee in alignment. And then on swing, that strong finishing move where I have my bottom hand, or my top hand is palm up, bottom hand is palm down. Once your athlete has mastered that part right there, you can then have them go through it on their own. Okay, feeling their motion, feeling their swing, going through their pre-pitch ritual. And then from there, you can have them just go through full speed. Notice, on the finish, I'm really working to hold that follow through, hold that balance. I'm a big believer that if you have great stability, you will have great mobility. If your athlete is losing their base and falling towards the plate, spinning off and falling back towards the line, they're going to have a less likelihood of success of making contact with the ball. Now, the fifth and final piece of our PVC pipe drill series is simply taking the PVC pipe, okay, and we're going to put it across our chest in the crook of our elbows. You're going to take your left hand, put it on your right pec, right hand, and put it on your left pec. Preferably having a little bit more of the PVC pipe facing in the direction of the catcher. And we're going to simply go through the sequence of the swing. So we're going to see the load, and on that load, we should see the shoulder, the front shoulder pointing down, and the PVC pipe really helps highlight that. What a lot of young athletes do when they go into their load, they turn or spin, and this is very easy to catch by having that PVC pipe across their chest. Okay, and again, with the younger athletes, sometimes with not having longer arms, you might have to go around and help them find where it's comfortable, where it should feel it's firm in here, where they're not actually really thinking about holding it, it's just kind of locked in place. So again, load, stride, drive that lower half while still keeping that PVC pipe pointed down. And obviously we're not going to slot the elbow, we're simply focusing on that lower half. Finish high, balanced, driving back knee into front knee, back hip has replaced front hip. We're feeling great stretch through the core and our pelvic bowl. So again, in full speed, load, stride, rotate lower half, finish. So that's our 5 parts to the Daily Vitamin PVC pipe drill series. Now, even just in that, 10 minutes, I'm getting a good sweat going. It's waking up the nervous system, and it's creating those pieces in the athlete's swing that we want to look for when we go through our drills. It allows you the opportunity as a coach to talk to each athlete and help them with their unique needs, remembering to also highlight what they do very well and making sure that everybody's on the same page as far as language. So we want to be really cohesive with our language, and I truly believe that this drill series will help you do that. Now, when you first get started with team hitting, please don't feel like you have to get through all 5 of those motions. If it takes the better part of the time that you have to just get through the first piece, that's completely fine. Know your athletes, know where they're at, and help them along the way. We're not just going to try to move them along just because we feel like we need to. Now, if you have athletes that are, on a team, you have a spectrum. You might have some who are pretty advanced and some who are still lagging behind. Allow those who are advanced to keep on moving. Have them go with a coach, and they can continue to work on that drill series. So once again, we have the telephone pole, walk away, telephone pole, walk away to hip turn, telephone pole, walk away, hip turn, slot the elbow. The fourth one was when we had the PVC pipe up on our shoulder, where we go through our swing without the PVC pipe in the ground. And then the fifth piece of our PVC pipe daily vitamin is simply having the PVC pipe squeezed against our chest. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Please, if you ever have any questions or needs, reach out to me and I'm happy to help you answer any of those questions.